Hey y'all, how's it going? I'm trading the ES futures on a 2000 tick chart with a 21 EMA. So I've got the overnight high up here and the overnight low down here. These are our key levels for the day. I started trading at 8 Central Time, which is this area right here. Now, notice we have these two big legs down, and then when we bounce, it's still within the overnight session. So this is our overnight low. And when we push up here, since we're coming off the overnight low, since we just formed it here after these two legs down, we can expect a reversal pattern. And so a reversal pattern is a failed second entry. So ideally what you'd see is a rush above like this, ideally a little bit higher, so that way we can get two clear legs retesting the EMA. That would form a good failed second entry, a reversal pattern. And so that's what I would have wanted there, but unfortunately we don't quite get that. We get something different. Instead of the two clear legs retesting, we just get one leg pushing back below the EMA. So this is not a good sign for a reversal pattern. When you get a reversal pattern to go along, you don't want to see rushes below the EMA. That's very bearish. And so you have to take into account this is basically a downtrend here. Now with this one, you already have the break and a couple legs at a new low from this original downtrend. So I'm not concerned about this one. Now I'm concerned about this right here. It's a smaller downtrend. And then notice on this entry, you might ask, why do I not like this right here? It's a pin bar expecting a new high for this uptrend. But once again, since we're not getting a clear reversal pattern, we have to consider this downtrend. So we have to wait for this to play out. It has downtrend, break, first attempt lower, second attempt lower, failure. And then it clearly reacts just like a failure with that bar. Closing on its very high, just going straight up, that looks like a failure, and it's right at the second attempt failure for this downtrend. And it looks small picture because it is. It's a small picture trend. You got these two small picture attempts down, but you still need that confluence since you're not getting an ideal reversal pattern. So just wanted to make that clear. And also I would like to point out here that with this uptrend, you do have this measured move up. Just wanted to mention that this was considered at the time. And so measured move, target within that. Now we keep pushing on up here. Unfortunately, on the rest of this way up here, we don't get any corrections down to the EMA, so no way to enter on anything. But, we push on up, we're forming this uptrend, we got those lows, the highs, it's pretty clearly in this structure here. Now, we overshoot, it wasn't super consistent, but we did overshoot the line, immediately led to a break. We had this sharp push down, and then, it's just a first entry, very sharp push down under the EMA. No way would you want to enter long on that. And then we get a second leg down, actually breaking this channel now. So now this uptrend, we have a break, couple attempts at a new high, we fell back down. And I just want to mention, even though it doesn't have three bounces, three perfect bounces on either side, when you get a strong push up like that, it's still going to act like a trend. It's going to act, it's going to want a new high. It's going to want a couple attempts at a new high still. So just wanted to point that out. Now, we don't get anything here, but after the break, we get those two attempts higher here. Now, this higher low is obviously way too choppy. It's just sideways. It's not ideal. And then we fail. So this is going to go into price action levels, because on the first price action level after this break, you get those two attempts and then a pretty strong failure. But on a bigger picture, these two attempts higher are just one leg. So you have uptrend, break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher, failure. And you get a failure right here, and it's also pretty decent. Now, I just want to mention here on an even bigger picture, which I'm going to get more into the details here, but on an even bigger picture, you have this whole trend as the break. So you have uptrend, break, push to a new high, and that's how you get these two major legs up. Oh, and what a surprise. Perfectly at that measured move. It went a little above, but right at that major measured move, that's where we had another very sharp push down. So these measured moves are very important. Understanding the price action levels, how at first you'll see it on a smaller level, then on a little bigger level, and then on an even bigger level. So I just wanted to go over that. So anyway, we're pushing down here. At this point here, we have this uptrend and then a two-legged break. It's not just two legs down. You're actually getting a two-legged break from this uptrend. And so you'd want to look for an entry to make a new high. Now, unfortunately, right here, I just view this as two attempts to get through the EMA, unsuccessful, even though it barely closed above right there. It was so clearly rejecting. It was not able to get above. At that point, it was also kind of getting sideways. We were not off of any clear support. So there's really nothing to go off of here to take along, But at this point, when we rush above and hold above, I do think it looks good to try to enter with a limit order if you can get a good price. But you do have this trend line forming, and also at the time it was a little bit more pointed down. So unfortunately, there's no good limit order trade here either. Now, I do want to mention that on this third bounce right here, once again, it was like that, but it clearly held. On this third bounce, we have 2 legs up, but it got really choppy though. So you still can't enter on it. It basically turned into this whole range, and you're entering right into the lows on this bar that's pushing below the EMA. So it's still not ideal, especially after this measured move was met, and you have this bigger up measured move in play. That's really not an ideal short. Even though you do have 2 attempts higher, it could act as a failure. It did get very choppy. So, and once again, still after these 2 legs down. So we do push on down here. This we get this third bounce here that ends up pushing down pretty low, forming our bigger picture break. We just kind of spike out of nowhere. Unfortunately, no real way to get in on this safely. I don't see a safe entry here. But we just spike out of here, clearly forming the second leg up. We can draw that measured move. We push up, we get very choppy up here. We push back below, we get very choppy again. And I just want to lower the range to how it was at the time. At first I was drawing something out like that because it was clearly just chopping within that. But I did start to extend it as we form more price action. It was pretty sideways, but it didn't hold very well at first. Now I'm thinking we could have something wider, which I'll just get to that in a sec. I'll get to that when I get to it. But as we push up here, or where was I? I kind of forgot. Sorry about this. Oh yeah, right here. So after we pushed out of there, even though we made this double bottom, it was still clearly going completely sideways there. You don't want to enter long right into that. It's below the EMA. But this uptrend, even though it's the second leg on a big picture, you can still see what's happening on the smaller picture. So we have uptrend, break, first attempt higher. It successfully made that new high, but we still got a second attempt higher. And this point right here, we have a major measured move met, this blue arrows, and also on a smaller picture, we have this measured move met. And also with this uptrend here, we're overshooting, and overshoots lead to breaks. Now, on a trend like this, it's pretty wide channel here, and we do have an overshoot, but it's not very, very significant for the size of this channel here. So even if you don't expect this overshoot to lead to a break, you can still expect it to lead to a sharp move. Overshoots, they lead to breaks, they lead to stronger breaks than usual. So even if you don't get a very, very big overshoot compared to the size of your trend, you can still expect to spike down, especially given all these major measured moves met, this other stuff closing outside of this uptrend line here. So I really like this right here. Now we push on lower here. Now I wasn't too confident that this range was here because we didn't have any consistency off the highs or lows at this point. It just was pretty sideways. But I still did want to get out before these lows here because, like I said, it was turning a little bit sideways even though it wasn't completely consistent with the trend lines. So we push on lower here, just 1-to-1 on that. Now we fade back in. You can kind of see this reversal pattern, this failed second entry here. It's not the best, of course, at all. It's actually really terrible. It's just first entry short, second entry short, failure, right after a huge spike down. If you want to take a long after an enormous spike down, you better have a really good reversal pattern holding above the EMA. And then you see how with these 2 pushes down within this small failed second entry, some may try to trick themselves into saying downtrend, break, first attempt lower, second attempt lower, failure. This is way too small picture for that. You want to see it above the EMA, then you can possibly get 2 attempts at a new low, and that could form a good reversal pattern, but definitely not right here. Now we push on up here. This level, it does push through, but it basically holds again on this level right here. So we can see how it holds later on, and then these lows, after you get a couple breakouts of a range, you can look to extend them. So you can extend them here, see how they hold. And we might have a much better range here, much more fitting. So I just wanted to go over that. Now we have these couple legs down here. I can draw out this measured move. So we have this push down, break, first attempt to reach a measured move, second attempt. So you could possibly find a failure entry soon, but I'm going to be done for today. Hope you enjoyed this video, and hope you learned something from it. And, yep, thanks for watching.